quick video on how to clean the P10C or P10F or P10S. They're all pretty much the same frame. They break down very similarly. But what I've got here is the P10C. First thing you do is you make sure it's clear. So if it's got a magazine in it, drop the magazine, press the release right here, drop the magazine, set the magazine over to the side, and then rack the slide. Look in the chamber and make sure there's no ammunition in the chamber. That's so critical. Too many people don't do it. Again, drop the magazine first, get rid of the ammo supply, drop that first, and then rack the slide. If you got a round in there, a live round, it'll pop out. So that'll pop out there, or it'll be empty, one or the other. Okay, so once you know it's clear, you're gonna have to pull the trigger, otherwise the slide will not come off. You'll notice there's a tab on this side right here, and there's another one just like it on this side. Now what you have to do in order to engage this disconnect here is, what I do is I just put the pistol down on the table and just push, and you'll feel the slide come back just slightly. Now I take my fingers, the thumb on one side, finger on the other, push both tabs, one on each side, and I take my thumb and push like that, and it comes right off. Okay, so now we've got the polymer frame separated. The slide assembly with a recoil spring. Just take the recoil spring out from this end. Don't want to point it towards your face. I'm just doing it so you can see it. Usually I just do it this way, but I push it like that and then lift up on it, and it comes out. Now this only goes in one way. Just take note of which end goes in down here when you take it out, so you put it in the same way. And what I do is I lay these things over in order pretty much. So I just go in reverse order to put it back together. Now we reach down here for the barrel, lift up and pull back, and the barrel comes out. So I'll set that over to the side. So now that's the disassembly for cleaning. You can disassemble the slide more, but you don't have to do that very often. This is as far as you really need to do it. Okay, so from there, I'll take my board brush, attach it, dip it into the Hopies, the solvent, and then here, from here, I don't put it on a microfiber because the brushes will get caught. It's hard to pull it back out. So I just hold it up like this and then run it through a few times with the solvent on it. Okay. So once that's done, I'll remove the board brush. Then I take a nylon brush, I dip the small end for me into the bottle of solvent, and then I get right here. This is the feed ramp. So I get right here and clean all that off, and anything that's up around here, around where the chamber is. And you can clean the whole barrel if you want to. Now just set it over the side, kind of let it soak in the solvent. Then I'll clean the brush off like this, because it's probably got carbon on it. Okay, so now I dip it again in the solvent, and now I'm going to clean the inside of the slide. It's going to be the inside of the rails here, all through here where it's flat, and then right here on the breech face. That's what this is. So it's where the firing pin comes out, or the striker. And so clean that, it'll carbon up really bad. You'll see an extractor right here. You can, with this I can actually push it up underneath there. But that's what grabs a hold of the rim and pulls the cartridge back out once it fires, and then it helps eject it. So sometimes it takes a pipe cleaner, something like this, to get up underneath there and clean the carbon out. Usually they're not too bad, but after you fire a few hundred rounds, it's a good idea to make sure it gets cleaned. Okay, so again, we've got the solvent on there. I'm just going to let it soak and clean the brush off again. Put it in the solvent and clean the metal parts. You don't want to get too heavy on the solvent to where it gets down and just pulls up in some of the crevices here. Just kind of a light coating to get the carbon off. Okay. All right, so now we've done that. We've got everything done with solvent and cleaned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the barrel. Oh, let's see, with the recoil spring, I don't use any solvent or anything on it. I just take a cloth and wipe it down. If you get oil and stuff on it, it tends to collect dust or any debris and it sticks to it and it doesn't function properly. So I just keep this dry, clean. Okay, so now, like I mentioned before, we want to take this little eyelet attachment and I want to take one patch. For me, it's 9mm usually works well with one patch. 45 is usually 2 patches. But I've got it like this. Now I'm just going to go from this end, from the ramp end, and push it in over and over again. And sometimes you may have to use more than one patch. Try to do it until there's no black stuff coming out on it. Okay, and it is important to, when you're cleaning, to go in from the ramp end, not the exit end of the barrel. This is the crown. If you come in from this end, sometimes you can scar it up and it'll affect your accuracy. So always come from the back side through. Okay, and then I'll wipe this down, the ramp and everything, I wipe it down, and then I'll just set the barrel over to the side. Okay, now I've got the slide. And I'm just going to take a rag, and I would take a rag, I've got some oil on it now, so I want to take a rag and get as much as I can solvent and stuff off with the rag. And sometimes you may have to use Q-tips. These work really well to get into the rail itself, and also down in here, right here where the striker is and stuff. Make sure there's no dirt in there. And you can also use a patch. Patch works really well to get down in some of these areas here. You'll see the solvent's kind of shiny, reflective, and you'll know when you get it all off. You need to get it as clean as you can from the solvent. Don't want to leave any solvent on there if possible. Same thing with the frame itself. I just take a rag and get as much as I can with the rag. And then again, I'll use, especially down in here, in this part, I use the Q-tip for down in here, because it can get pretty nasty. Okay. All right. So now I've got all that done. Got all the solvent off. I'll put this back. So now it's time to oil it up. And for me, I like these little needle nose things. They come with just a plastic tip, which works fine. But I like the way gun butter does this. It's got a really fine needle on it and get into the rail and stuff really well. But what I do is I will take the barrel itself, and right here, this is where the recoil spring will touch up against. So I'll put a little bit of oil there, not much, don't want a lot. And then I just kind of rub it in with my fingers. And also on the top, just spread it around, a light coat. It doesn't need to be heavy. Once that's done, I set it aside. Then I'll go to my slide, and I'm going to get the inside of the rail right here, right down in the slot. Just a really fine bead, not a lot, but just a really fine bead on each side. You also want to put some right here in this portion, and that's pretty much it for the slide itself. Now if you look at the frame, after you've shot it for a while, put a couple hundred rounds through it, you're going to notice that some of the metal parts get shiny, and you can probably see on some of these, especially like this one here. See how it's shiny instead of black? That's where it's wearing. So I want to make sure all those places have a drop of oil. Again, a light coating. So I just oil right here on the sides, right here, and right here. And you'll see some here on the sides too where it's worn, so I'll get a little bit in there. Okay. So that's pretty much it. You can spread around with your fingers too if you want. The trick is just to get a light coating. All right, so now we're going to put it back together. So I've got my barrel here. This is the back end. This is the front end. So I'm going to take the barrel, and with the ramp, see the ramp there is up. I'm going to slide it in all the way in here, and then drop it down, and then push it back like that. So now the barrel is in place. Now we're going to take the recoil spring. Remember, I told you it only goes in one way. You can try and put it in the other way, but it won't. This big end goes against the plate here on the barrel. So I put this end in first, then put a little pressure on it from this end and push down so that it rests right there. Okay. Alrighty. Now you want to take this and line up the rails, this part of the rail here, with the very back of the rail on the slide. Okay. And make sure the spring stays down. Sometimes it'll pop up, jam it up while you're trying to do it. So I'll push it in, and now I've got a little bit of resistance. And now I'm going to push it back. I missed the slide there. Okay. So I've got the rails in there now. I'm trying to look at the camera and look at this at the same time. Okay, so I push it back. All right, so I've got a little bit of resistance there, but I'm just going to push it back and then push it all the way back like that. And it automatically locks in place. You don't have to do anything with the tabs. You just push it back, and once you push the slide on, it's back together. Okay, once again, I'll make sure there's no magazine, nothing in the chamber. Now I'm going to do a function check. So I rack the slide and I pull the trigger, and it should go like that. It hit the striker. And then I want to let go of the trigger and rack the slide again. Now this time I'm going to pull the trigger. So there goes the striker. Now with pressure still on the trigger, as though I'm firing it, I'm going to rack the slide. And now I'm going to check the reset. Okay, so I'm going to let it loose very slowly, and you'll hear it click, or you should. Right there. So very slow. That's the reset. From that point, I'll pull it again, and it should fire. Okay, so that's the function check, and it's working. Then what I'll do typically is there may be some oil and stuff on the outside, so I just wipe any excess off. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I can do it literally in about 3 minutes from start to finish if I get in a hurry. I still get a pretty good cleaning job done. Anyway, should work the same way on your P10S.